Hello, Sandra Embleton here, speaking today on the 23rd of March, 2019. And I'm just going to speak about what I'm hearing. I'm just hearing, let go, 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 let go. And I'm hearing it over and over again. And I'm going to breathe into the saying of let go, because we go, well, how do I let go? People say, oh, just let go, let God, let go, and everything will be okay. Well, how do you let go, right? So this is an important thing. So I'm just going to go within and listen to the Father, Mother within as to how to let go. So this is how I let go the thoughts I think when I'm letting go. So I breathe into my higher mind. So I'm just taking my awareness up into my mind and probably to the pineal gland. And I'm hearing let go, let go, let go, let go. So the thoughts now are, well, if I let go, what do I have to let go of? And it's like, just let go of how you're seeing the world. Just let go of how you are seeing the world right now. So how I'm seeing the world right now, I base it immediately on what's going on in my world, what's happening in my world, what's happening in my life. And when I begin to let go, it's like, what if you just let go of all the thoughts that you've been thinking about your husband, about your son, about your daughter, about your job, about your life, about your money situation, and the people next door, and the people at work, and the people and the traffic, and the movies you're watching, and the TV you're watching, and the awfulness of the world. And there's just so many things that you can be thinking, and you wake up every day and those thoughts are the same thoughts every day. You wake up to them, you go, oh, those thoughts are here from yesterday because I was worrying about that yesterday, and oh, those thoughts are still here from yesterday, and oh, I really don't like the thoughts I've been thinking lately, because the thoughts I've been thinking lately, I've just been letting the world get to me, and all the awfulization and all the fear. So then I drop in frequency, and now I'm stuck with listening to the same thoughts going through my head over and over again. And I'm letting those thoughts define me. In other words, my thoughts become my life. And I begin to believe that the thoughts are my life. And I realize then, when I keep harboring the same thoughts over and over again, I create more of what I have. Because those are the only thoughts I'm thinking, so they get the same result. Every day that I'm thinking those same thoughts, I wake up to them and they're always with me. So being a master of your universe, you recognize that the universe is completely up to your creation, because you choose the thoughts you think there. So I'll wake up and I'll go, oh yeah, those thoughts are there again. Oh yeah. I have to let go of those thoughts. Let go, let go, let go. Let go of those thoughts. Let them drop away. It like falls away. It's like, oh, all the crap I've been worrying about means nothing. And all of a sudden it falls away. It falls away because we're so entrenched in the drama of what it is that we're experiencing every day. We believe it to be what is reality. And it really is just a creation of the thoughts we keep thinking. So if I'm focusing on, oh, I hope that this happens, so, my husband makes a house sale and we sell a house and we can be in the house and everything's okay, and I'm hoping this good thing will happen for one of my kids, and I'm hoping this other thing will happen. So we have the same thoughts all the time, and maybe, oh, I don't like my boss, or maybe I should switch jobs, maybe I should do this, whatever. It's, if you don't like somebody or you don't get along with them, then you continue to remind me, oh, I have to go to work and that person's there that I don't get along with. And guess what? You won't get along with them today either, because that's what you're thinking about them. So when I'm letting go, I'm going to let go. I'm going to let go of the worry of what's going on, because I have convinced myself that I'm in control of it rather than I'm witnessing it. So what that is saying, I must surrender and continually bring the thoughts to my world that I am no longer in charge of my life. I've given it to God, so it's God's problem, not mine. So I don't have to worry about anything. I can just let go of all my fears and all my concerns on a daily basis and give them to God. Give them to God, because she will handle them for me. Right. So if I choose the thought when I open my eyes in the morning, well, it's another day. I'm in God's kingdom. I'm with God. Hey, God, come on in, enter in. What are we doing today? What's up today? What's our agenda today? Where are we going? What are we doing? And when you have that type of thought, it alleviates you from the worry and the fear of thinking you can actually affect what's going on in your world and control others and control what's happening. Because you can't. And you don't want to. Okay, so when I'm hearing, how can I say on one hand, if you control the thoughts you think every day, you create your future. That's right. So then if you choose no thought, it actually means I don't have to worry, because I'm a servant of God who give my life to God. So it's that simple surrendering of the worry and the thoughts around worry that you let go of. Well, I'm letting go. I'm going to let go of these negative thoughts, or these control thoughts, or these thoughts that I fall into the dismay of what presents itself in the world, in the reality I'm seeing around me. I'll release my disparage at what comes to me on the news and what people talk about, or that person that tried to steal from me, or that person that yelled at somebody, or that person who was so stingy they weren't giving. You let that thought go completely, because it's just there and you're witnessing it. Just watching it, and you watch it with compassion, because there are most likely individuals around you that don't have the level of awareness that you have. And they can't see themselves. They're so deep in the sleep. They're believing the thoughts they think are real. Not just thoughts passing through that you can choose to think or not. It's just like I said to my son, there's a river, and I heard or read, there's a river of thoughts. Visualize a river of thoughts, and you're sitting there in the bank and you're putting your fishing pole in the river of thoughts, and you pull out a thought for the day, and it says, I want you to worry about the fact that you can't pay your mortgage yet this month. And I want you to take that thought with you throughout your day, and I want you to worry about it. Then you go, oh, do I really want to spend the energy and the time I have today worrying about that? Like, do I want to worry about that when I can fall into the trust and go, well, I'm being taken care of by God. So somehow that's going to happen. I'm going to be okay. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to trust and have faith that it'll be okay. Right? So you throw that thought back, you throw that fish back. Let's choose another thought for today. I'll pick out a thought and goes, oh, you have enough money to not only pay your mortgage, but buy extra groceries this month. Whoa, that's a good thought. Well, that thought feels a lot better than worrying about whether I can pay my mortgage. I'm going to choose this thought to think of all day, put it in my thought bank, and just go, oh, I don't know, I'm going to have enough money for my mortgage. It's going to work out. And I'll actually have extra money for groceries this week. I don't know how that's going to look or how it'll work, but I'm going to think that thought. And then it can start moving in with other happy thoughts like, I'm pretty lucky. Things always work out for me. Things always work out for me, and I'm going to have a good day. Something really great's going to happen today. I'm going to make a connection. I'm going to make a God connection with somebody else in the kingdom. Yes, I'll find a connection today. God will bring me a soul that mirrors my light, that connects with me, that I can feel God's love from. And that interaction with one of those light beings that are walking around, you can call them angels, but they're light beings walking around, wanting to connect with you, wanting to mirror back to you the God connection that exists with you and ignite you, light you back up. They want to light you back up. So today I was taken to a place where there was a light being, and it was a young light being, and I could tell I was to be there. So I was leaving for breakfast, and on my way home I'm hearing, you need to go over to this house. You need to go over to this house. And I go, oh, okay. Really? You want me to go over to this house? And it was, yeah, this could happen or this could happen. You need to be at this house. And I go, okay. So there's positive things that I thought could happen if I went and dropped by. There was something, good things could happen if you go. Come on, go on. And there's God leading me, and I'm listening. I'm going, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm hearing it, I'm going to obey it. So you go around, I went around the corner and I dropped by at this house where I was supposed to be. And I come in the door and and it's a fairly open person, so I preface it with, I don't know why I'm here, but I was told to be here. So I'm going to sit here until I figure out why God's got me here. Because I don't know why yet, but I know I'm supposed to be here. So I'm trusting that inner knowing that exists within me and says, sit down. Sit down, you're supposed to be here. Okay. So I went and sat down, and next thing I knew, all this great spiritual conversation ensued. And it was a benefit for me because I got to see something about myself. I got to see something about other people was revealed to me. And made me understand why it is that God had removed me from their company, because they were secretly harboring negative thoughts about me. And we can't tell when somebody is harboring negative thoughts about us because we can't hear them speak it. Their thoughts are silent. So you'd have to look for other signs that God would give you to keep away from certain people. And if people are jealous of you, or if people are not where you are, that jealousy can turn into hatred and negativity. And they'll try and find something negative about you to match the thoughts they think about you. So they'll manifest them. A simple mistake could be misconstrued as the worst thing. Oh, they did this on purpose, or this happened, when something was an absolute mistake. So if that's being misconstrued, if they're on the inner choosing to judge you negatively because they're jealous of where you are. That's a hard place to be in because you wish it wasn't that way. But God and you will create problems to manifest until it's evident that you can't stay there. And He's going to move you forward to better company. I hope you got that. And sometimes when we have to say goodbye to old friends or old groups or old situations, old partnerships, old relationships, and we try and hang on to them for as long as we can because there's a belief that if I just hang around long enough, they'll be okay. They'll be okay for me. It'll work out. They'll be okay for me. But once you awaken and realize, no, they won't be okay for you. And so you still hang on, though, even when it's no longer good for you. Because maybe you want to help them. Maybe there's something you want. But you're just in this company, and it's time to part ways. That's the challenge, is to be able to surrender when you've done everything you can to help somebody or someone, a group or something, and they're just not able to move any farther. So God brings you into a new place and a new group. Now I'm hearing Jeremiah. So I have to say, I learned something new about God. Something I didn't know about God. And I learned that sometimes you can want God to help people or fix people for you, but God's plan isn't to fix them or help them. Like, I was amazed when I heard the story of Jeremiah because it was about a fellow who was asked by God to go into a town to preach to them and to tell them about God, and God told him at the onset, but they'll never hear you. They'll make fun of you, they'll hurt you, they'll beat you, they'll be so PO'd at you, they'll do anything to shut you up, but go there and do it anyway. And don't ask me to pray for their souls and for them to see the way and see the light, because I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to just tell you to go in someplace, and this is what's going to happen. They're never going to believe you. They're never. You're going to preach away to them. You're going to tell them all about me, and they won't believe you. They won't listen to you. They make fun of you, and they'll hurt you for it. But go and do it anyway. So Jeremiah does. He goes and does it, but quickly he figures out, well, they're really mean to me. I can't find any friends. Nobody likes me. They don't want to listen to me. They mock me. Well, yeah, God. So yeah, I told you. That's what I told you would happen. And they're like, well, you're great, God. I make this place better for me. It's not what I wanted. And God goes, no, I told you it wouldn't be what you wanted, but go and do it anyway. And the mission from the hero's perspective, where's the payoff? Where's the outcome? Where's the good for this? I'm not seeing the good in it for me. How's this going to benefit me? How's this going to work for me? And God's saying, well, you're not going to know this right now, but you go ahead and do this, and I'll reward you later. Your reward will be later. It might not be in this incarnation, in this consciousness, but it will be down the road. So my question is, if Jeremiah's outcome was to simply preach and never be heard, but after his death, he was heralded as someone who wrote the longest book in the Bible. So he That was his accomplishment. Jeremiah went through all those hard years of hurt and pain for God, but his reward came after that incarnation ended, and he was heralded as one of God's prophets. To me, the reward for that is in the kingdom of heaven, when God reveals to you on earth who you are in the kingdom of heaven. So I heard a lecture about Jeremiah, and I ended up meeting Jeremiah. I'm going to tell you what I mean. I've been watching this man preach on television on a certain show for about 12 years. And I really, really like this man. In fact, he's a great speaker. I found him a bit dull at the beginning, trying to listen to his preachings. But the more I grew in wisdom, the more I'd watch him and the more I'd start to be able to see the wisdom of what he was preaching. And to the point where I didn't want to miss anything that he was preaching, because I'm going, now, if you understand the Bible, you're going to follow this man. Because he's got it. He pretty much understands the Bible to the most greatest understanding that I've ever heard anyone who has lived their life preaching the Bible can speak truth. This man does. And you know that because when I went to hear him speak, the Spirit of God came through him to me. But here's what's so interesting. I have liked this man for over 10 years and am saying, I should go to his church. I should go to his church. I should go listen to him. I should go listen to him. Yeah, I really like him. Why don't I go down there and see him in person? He's not too far. Why don't I go and see him in person? And I never went. It never called me. But when I found out he retired, I went, oh, that's too bad. He's retired now. I really can't go hear him speak. And then he was taken off the TV shows. They were putting out somebody else. And I'm going, oh, well, I just like to listen to him. He's the guy I really, he's the one that knows. I really like that guy. But I never went to see him, and I never went to see him. When I found out that he was guest speaking at his old church, I thought, I'm going to go see him. But moreover than that, I was to honor him by having him sign that special book that I carry. And when I went up into I meditated before I was going to go see him. And before I was going to bring my book to him, I meditated to make sure that's what God wanted me to do. And he did. He wanted me to go. He wanted me to go and meet this man. So Joel Goldsmith tells us to go up into that meditative place. And it's like when you're in the kingdom and you go up to that higher place, it's the upper room in the Bible that the disciples are in. And they go to that place when they're all together in one accord and agreeing on one thing. They become one in their agreement of, I guess for them, what it was to be a disciple of Jesus, and coming to that accord of the knowing as it became evident to them that he really was the Son of God. And that God poured that knowing into them from when Jesus was crucified to the day of Pentecost. It took 6 weeks for God to pour into them the knowing that, oh, wow, that really was Jesus. That really was the Messiah. Because they didn't know it. Here I'm off on another topic. I'm recognizing it, but I'm going to go anyway. Now I've stopped with nothing here, so I was talking about Jeremiah. Let's go back to it. So I'm in the higher room, and in my meditation that morning here in my home, and in that higher room, it's like God's waiting room. Who's sitting there? But the speaker is sitting there, and I haven't met him yet in the physical, but he's in that upper room. He's in the kingdom. He's up in God's kingdom, and I sit down in this waiting room with him, and I go, oh, I said, I'm going to come and hear you speak. And then he says to me, yes, I'm waiting for you. I've been, actually his exact words in the kingdom were, I've been waiting for you. Wow, I thought. He's been waiting for me to come with that book for him to sign. And it's to honor him as being one of God's servants on earth. It's one of the highest honors God could give you, is signing that book. And he wanted to give it to the speaker. So I went, brought the book, went and listened to him speak, spoke about Jeremiah. And as he's speaking about Jeremiah, I'm realizing he's telling me who he is. And the story he stood up and spoke that day was his story of who he is in the kingdom of God. And I needed to be there so I could see who he was. He wanted to show himself to me because I could see him being someone who walks in the kingdom of God on earth. His higher conscious knowing wanted me to be there to see him and was waiting for me to come with that book to honor him, because his higher self knew who he was, even though he was unaware of any of his past lives or who he was in the kingdom of God at this time on earth. He had no knowing of it. He had no knowing of who he was in the kingdom. But I did. I saw. But it took me a couple days for it to come to me who he was. God had to work in me for 2 days to unveil who this speaker was to him. And in the kingdom of God, where God dwells, this is who this man is to him. And it's Jeremiah. He says, I brought Jeremiah to you, Sandra, so you can meet him and see him and know that his energy has come again through this man. And then another thing was revealed to me, which was that Christ energy came through Jeremiah when he walked the earth. He was at that time Christ. That Christed consciousness was in him. That he knew who he was to God. And that's what made him a prophet, was because he knew and was conscious of who he was when he was here. As Jeremiah. But as in his present life, he's walking through the physical world unaware that he is in the kingdom of God, Jeremiah, a proven, loved prophet, and that God was calling on him again to come and be with us here now and speak to us about the kingdom of God, even though the majority of us wouldn't get it, wouldn't understand it, might laugh at him, scoff at him, might beat him up for it, might put him in the stocks, but he's down here doing the same job this lifetime, being Jeremiah, by speaking because God called him to speak and preach about his son. And his obedience to God led him back into the life he knew as Jeremiah, this lifetime preaching about Christ. And he did such a good job. He attracted, I'm going to say, those of us who are in the kingdom to him. I wasn't the only one who saw his light. There were people in his church who know that when God speaks, he speaks to this man, because he does. And I went back the next week where he again spoke about the wonderful passages also in Jeremiah, about God saying to him and reassuring to him as one of his servants, you know what, if you go down and do this for me, I am never going to leave you. I am going to be there for you. I'm going to speak through you. I'll never leave you alone. I'm going to speak through you. I'm going to tell you what to say. Just go here and do what I say. Go where I tell you to. And just go there and I'll speak through you. And that's the faith that Jeremiah had. He went, okay, I'll give you my life. You can take me wherever you want, God, and say whatever you want through me, even though it's going to get me in a lot of trouble and I'm really not enjoying this. Like, it's really a bum job because the payoff sucks. But God's saying, don't worry, I won't honor you this lifetime. It'll be the next one. But to me, the honoring is, if you honor this speaker, then, Father, place the knowing of him that he is Jeremiah. Place that knowing into him in his consciousness, in this awareness, in this time. Let him move into the awareness that he actually is Jeremiah, and he can see what a good job he did and what he's done this lifetime again. Because the best passage from the Bible is Ecclesiastes 1:9. Because it says there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that always happened is happening again. No new truth can come. The truth's already here. So nothing new is under the sun. Everything that's happening has already been. And when you understand that, it's saying those same souls that came through to us, that are recorded in the Bible, those same prophets, they come to us again and again and again in different forms. To be able to discern that this speaker, this man, was indeed Jeremiah, and then to have the knowing of it, but not only me, Sandra Embleton, knowing it, but when I entered into the kingdom to be and ask God, he's waiting for me. So the next day I go back into God's waiting room after I've met this man and had him sign this book. And in the upper room, I see him, and I said, it was an honor to meet you. And he said, no, it was an honor. It was an honor to meet you. It was an honor to meet you. It was my honor to meet you. And in that higher room, in that higher consciousness where he met me, where we were in the kingdom of heaven, he had the full knowing, the full knowledge that I was Christ's partner, Mary Magdalene. He had that knowing, and he had the knowing of the second coming of Christ, that when he saw me and when he knew that, when he saw me, that would have been a sign unto him that Christ's return is imminent. He's coming, because Mary's right here in my church. Here she is. She showed up. Mary showed up. And because she showed up, the feminine must precede the entering of the Christ. In other words, Mary Magdalene, the goddess, the feminine, must make herself known before the second coming. And in his higher consciousness, having known and walked with Jesus as one of his disciples, he would have recognized me. In the kingdom, he would have recognized me, not as who he is in this lifetime and me who I am. No, he would have recognized me in the kingdom. And so his gift, his reward, his journey for the great life that he has preached his entire life is to be able to see and behold me and go, oh, if she's back, he's coming too. If she's showing herself to me now, he's coming too. He's coming too. So he knew by seeing me that Christ is at hand. And that all happened in his higher self, in the kingdom, in his kingdom mind. But he is unaware of his kingdom mind in this reality. And so my prayer for him would then be that I would pray that God would bless him with the consciousness and the realization of who he has been always and is today and what he's experienced in the kingdom, and to rest assured that his work was never in vain, that he took so many souls into the kingdom here on earth. by telling them about Jesus and God. What a great job he's done. What a great job he's done. Oh, what a great job he's done. As a soul who's been here and who himself has carried the Christ energy, he knows the importance of what's happening now because he's lived it. He knows. He knows that God is bringing back his son to us. But he doesn't. He knows it. He knows it in the kingdom, but he doesn't know it here. So we want it. That'd be lovely for him to receive the knowledge of the kingdom knowledge. That'd be great if God could pass it to him. Yeah, I prayed that for him, that God would pass him. Because then he'd go, oh, I am Jeremiah, and this is happening. And God's promise is true. He is bringing back his son. The second coming's here. Yay, it's all true. It's all true. It's all happening. All right, now I'm being brought back to, where did we start at the beginning of letting go? Of letting go. I guess for me, I had to let go of minimizing that story and not coming into my holiness, my divinity, my sacredness, because my sacredness is what brings me into making this video and speaking about this story, because the humanness in me wanted to minimize it. But the sacredness in me and who I am, and acknowledging that I speak and can speak from the kingdom, has allowed me to have the courage to video this and share with you what I'm getting as I'm getting it. As I speak to the kingdom, as I speak to God and those heavenly beings, I guess having the knowing that it comes through me and to let it out. And I have to let go of the doubting of it, of the apologizing for it, of the Sandra of it that says, oh, what am I going to say? I have nothing to say today. I minimized myself. And it's moving into that full heart place, my sacredness, that says, the more I move into my authenticity of allowing God to speak through me like Jeremiah, and fighting off those citizens that can exist in my kingdom that say, oh, we don't want to listen to you. Who cares what you have to say? Nothing, we don't want to hear another thing. Kingdom of God, who cares? People don't care about that. Who cares, Sandra? They're not watching. Who cares? I have to fight those enemies off and go, all right, yeah. Just sit in front of the camera. Just sit in front of your video camera and just, sit here with these beautiful flowers and just let it happen through you, and hope that in God's timing, this will be made manifest, and that people will then have the knowing of what it is I'm saying, what's coming through me. And to celebrate God's servants that come to us. And it takes another servant, perhaps, to recognize another one. So when God brings two of his servants, two of his prophets, two of his channels, two of his people, top people really, who he could call on to work through him to bring about the information to his children, that he can count on us. And this man's contribution was different than my contribution, but both of equal importance and value in God's kingdom. So when I let go of naysaying and putting myself down and listening to the negative, and I move into my heart that says everything you say is of importance, every act you do is an act of God, because God works through his servants. And his servants are people like me and you. What would you do for God? I'd do anything for God. Even if, like Jeremiah, it made me look like a fool. People would think I was crazy, laugh at me, make fun of me. It's letting go of all that worry and just do what you're here to do when you're called to do it. Because you never know what God's going to do with you, not just now, but down the road. And that's where you have that faith in God and his past actions, saying, yeah, every time he takes me somewhere, he's usually there looking after me, putting it all together for me. It's always nice when we know, and when we receive the knowing that we've done a good job. So, yes, good job to those servants. All right, I'm going to go now.